Hi, I'm James, a fly fishing fanatic from the north with an absolute obsession for chasing silver.
Yeah, it's a big fish. I've got a hell of a fish on here. I'll get the net.
And I'm Ripon, a certified coarse angling addict that literally eats, sleeps and breathes fishing.
I ain't gonna kiss it again. Oh, you can kiss it. No.
Being from different ends of the fishing spectrum, our paths crossed during our incredible big fish worldwide adventure.
Oh, the main man's in again.
It had to be fate, and there was only ever going to be one outcome.
A new partnership was born, one ready for a new angling adventure. Last time we took on the world, this time it's a little closer to home.
Bring on the bass.
We have some truly incredible fish that reside in our British waters, with a select few falling into a unique category. Fish so spectacular, they have shaped and changed people's lives and driven them to have an insatiable fascination with them. It's time to be proud of what we have and celebrate their status as an iconic fish.
We can't do this alone though, so we have drafted in our good friend and world-renowned fly fishing legend, Hal Morgan. Along with Hal, we'll also be joined by some of the country's most talented anglers to help us not only understand and discover, but catch these iconic fish.
We are the Untamed Anglers.
And this is Britain's iconic fish.
Got the Untamed Anglers and the Untamed Fish.
The boats are ready, and I think it's time to start fishing. What do you think? Come on, Howell. Cups away.
Well, Ripster, welcome to the River Tyne, my home river. I literally live 5 minutes away and I've fished this river all my life.
Is this why they call you the Salmon Daddy?
This Salmon Daddy, I was waiting for that. What do you think?
Mate, it's a beautiful place. I can't wait to fish it.
Well, you know what I think we should do?
Get in there.
Get a rod in the water. Come on,
then, mate.
Salmo sailor, the Atlantic salmon. Possibly the most unique species to be caught in our British waters. A solid silver torpedo capable of incredible power and speed. Born in our UK river systems, and at a young age, they feel an incredible strong urge to head out to sea and participate in one of the most spectacular fish migrations on the planet. After returning back to their river of birth, they use all their strength and power to navigate the many rapids, rocks and weirs, along with evading all manner of predators along the way to reach their spawning grounds at the top of the river system. Even though this incredible species has all the right characteristics of the ultimate fish, they are still one of the most sensitive and always need to be handled with the utmost care to secure the species' survival. Being the toughest species on our list to catch, one person was never going to be enough, so we've enlisted the help of several sail-off fishing fanatics and have put together a team so strong that even the Avengers would be proud of. With over 100 years of fishing experience and thousands of salmon to their name, we give you the ultimate salmon squad. Barry Ward, Emma Jackson, Philip Plant, and Andrew Jackson. So this week's iconic fish is my favourite, it's salmon, and we've drafted in a few old friends. I've got Phil and Emma from BBC's The Big Fish programme, and also our good friend Barry. Now each of these guys have different backgrounds, which is what we need, because these fish are so hard to catch. Some have lure fish, some have fly fish, all around the country, so they're going to help us try and get one of these fish for you guys to see, because they are incredible, and they are definitely Britain's most iconic fish. Right guys, plan of attack, two groups. There's going to be Andrew, Emma, Rip, and Barry, I think you're going to move in between. We're going to be using different methods, different size flies, different lures, just all give us the best chance possible.
Can I just say sorry to these two? Going to have to put up with Rip all day.
No, mate, it's alright. That's why he's on their team, mate.
Yeah, there we go.
Boys, this is actually quite tactical because this is going to be the teams for the competition. But what we've done is we've come down to the Barracks beat on the South Tyne. So this is South Tyne water.
Where are they?
They're on the North Tyne.
All right, okay. Well, I tell you what, first time I've seen the river, when we're driving up, it looks absolutely stunning.
Oh, it's epic. There's a massive number of fish in. The beginning of this month, we'd already had 19,000 fish run. Now, remember, we're fishing the South.
19,000?
Yeah, 19,000.
That's ridiculous.
There's some colossal fish in here.
There's only one problem. He said there's 19,000 fish gone up the river so far, and we've only need to catch one.
We only need to get one. Yeah.
You put pressure on us now, mate.
Yeah,
right.
I know about salmon fishing fish. All right, come on, let's stop talking, let's get fishing.
James, you're going to need a reel, though.
Hello, that would help. That's me getting too excited.
We've got everyone literally all spaced apart.
Now it's just literally trying to trap something. We've just got to keep working the water. We've got to keep moving as well. That's the key. Fanning my cast as well. There's Emma, look. The salmon slayer in her lair.
There's 2 rocks without getting caught on the rocks. It's quite tricky. I think any moment now there's going to be a rockfish. A little run there just in case. A bit of a short cast which this line doesn't terribly like.
The nice thing is there's quite a variety of fish and all the pools are different in character and nature. It's not like you go from one place, go to the next and it just looks the same as what you've done. It's all completely different. I can give you a list of reasons as long as my arm as to why we often fail, but that's salmon and sea trout fishing. You just never know when your luck will turn. Usually when you least expect. when you're just about giving up hope, something happens, and that's what keeps you going.
Little cascade. Let's check the hooks on them, not bent or anything.
Yeah, that one's bent out. Yeah, and that's blunt. Listen, that's what you're supposed to give rip on, not me. I'm in the same team as you.
So Phil, it's incredible to think that our journey began on the big fish.
It is,
We
yeah.
bumped
great.
into each other and we
did.
clicked straight away.
Yeah, down in Reading we did. didn't
One's
we?
a salmon
Yeah.
angler, always a salmon
Yeah.
angler. They can't keep you away from the place.
No.
I mean,
can't.
why do you love salmon so much?
I just, it was ever since I caught my first salmon, I went with a guy I used to work with, and he said, "Do you want to come and have a go at salmon fishing with us?"
Yeah.
So he caught a salmon on the worm, and he gave me the rod to hold it. I used to be a coarse fisherman up till that day, and after that day, that was the end. Sorry, that was a rock. Thought it was a fish. You've got to strike at everything.
Nearly took me chops off.
How deep is this hole?
Just keep going down.
I've just felt the slope.
This is where the Welshman disappears, and we do everyone a favour.
Well, we're on the Tyne, salmon fishing. Now, it's not my game, but I'll be honest with you, a salmon is responsible for me carrying on fishing. The old man forced me to go down on the River Tyne. Wasn't interested. No, I'm not going. Come on. We're not going. And then what he said, come on, you're going to go. And I was there, spinning. Fourth cast, just thought, oh, there's a tap. Thought it was a trout, all locked up, and it was a 15-pound salmon. So from being totally hating fishing at the age of 14, the following day I was back in love with fishing. So thank you, salmon. Now we could do with one on the end of this line. That should have been right in front of its nose. Come on.
So why the River Tyne? Well, it's not only the greatest salmon river in England and Wales, but we have such a great conservation around the system. We have a hatchery on the river, we have a great river management system called the Tyne Rivers Trust, and our anglers' attitudes are incredible. The catch and release ratio now is huge, but the volume of fish we get is colossal. I mean, last year and the year before, we actually had 35,000 fish run the system, and it gives us all a good chance of getting a fish on camera, and for you guys to understand why these fish are so incredible and iconic.
So yeah, these are some of our salmon eggs.
Oh mate, the big reveal. Look
Here
at
they
that.
are. So these are at the eyed stage now, so when you pick up the eggs you can actually see the eyes of the fish inside and actually the heart beating in there.
So from the fish being taken from the river in November, in strip November, December time, what is the process to get the eggs to this, and then the next stage to actually releasing the fish in the system?
So we'll check through each of our broodstock once a week, see which ones of the females are ready. We'll strip and fertilise those eggs, lay them down here in the hatchery, and then the first ones usually begin to hatch around March time.
Right.
And then first feed in April, May, and then we'll stock them back to the river. And most of them in the Tyne in particular will spend 2 years in the freshwater before they migrate off to sea in the spring.
So these alvins look like aliens. Martian, I've never seen anything like it. What sort of stage are these at now?
So these have just hatched. They would be buried in the gravel in the bed of the river, maybe 50 centimetres deep.
Really?
They'll spend another 6 weeks there, and then they'll be small enough to wriggle out through the holes in the gravel to the surface and start feeding for the first time.
And at the minute they're just surviving off the yolk sac that's attached to them?
Yeah, that's about 80% of their body weight, so they're using that yolk sac to grow and develop. And they'll be half as long again by the time they come out of the gravel.
5 years' time, some of these will be returning as the most incredible, iconic fish on the planet.
Just so amazing to look after all the time, and to think that these eggs that probably weigh 0.2 grams in 5 years' time, they could be 10 kilos or something like that. It's amazing.
And what I love about these creatures, these eggs here, have no clue of what they're going to go through. Their life cycle, the distance they travel, what they have to go through. So obviously there's a beautiful story behind the River Tyne, from being deft of life, no oxygen, to where it is today, with an average of about 35,000 fish running this river. And obviously the hatchery does have a big part to play in that. The river is a lot cleaner now.
It's certainly the lower reaches of the Tyne. They were due to the industrial pollution that was down there. Yeah. Oxygen levels were often critical for fish not only leaving the river but coming back, so it was killing them on the way out and the way in. The clean-up of the River Tyne has had a huge influence on the fish being able to return. Even with a hatchery, they wouldn't have made it through the estuary and survived, so it would have been pointless having that hatchery.
We never said salmon fishing was going to be easy, and with the weather and low water against us, it's a real struggle.
So we've had a bit of a location change. We weren't having much luck up that end, so we've come down to the junction pool. Now, junction pools are always renowned, fish spots, because it's on this particular river we've got the north and the south both joining. So you've basically got both run-off fish, the north and the south, in one place. So I'm going to let the guys go through with the fly, and then I'm going to try and froth up the water with a bit of lure action.
So, Emma, Barry, whoever wants to start with a fly. Barry. Are you sure? Yeah.
Absolutely sure, Barry. Go for it.
Just go up this side here, Barry, and in by that big willow tree, start as high up as you can, and we'll just paddle down this edge. Yeah. And just start with a short line, yard at a time, casting it out. I guarantee you I will leave one for you.
What is so special about salmon?
Well, to me it's just because it's probably one of the hardest fish to catch. It's a special fish in that it actually grows up in the river, migrates to sea, feeds, comes back. They're not feeding when they come back into fresh water. If they did, there probably wouldn't be very much of any of this fish species left when you consider the size that they come back. And you're just trying to trigger a response. It's the ultimate challenge to try and catch a salmon or sea trout. It's a special moment.
A lot of people do say that is almost the highest point of fishing. Catching a wild Atlantic salmon on the fly. Those variables have all got to line up, and then that's it. Once you have that fish on, and then the next bit is landing it.
Yeah, well, that's right. Hooking it once a first step.
You'll hook a few. Yeah,
trying to land it.
Is another one, and
that's
when you've got something that is so muscular, so full of energy. I mean, they go like stink.
Well, they're so powerful because they're perfectly adapted for their environment.
The skills of our salmon squad may have finally been rewarded.
Barry's shaking.
Very shaky. Fish on!
Well done, mate. Well done.
Look at that. What a creature. Oh! Yes! Look at the size of it! Look at the size of it! There we go. Got Barry on a lovely Atlantic salmon.
Fabulous.
Look at that. We'll send her back. Well done, mate. Well done.
First cast. First cast with a spinner.
It's funny because you've been working that with the fly, haven't you?
I'd actually seen a fish turn in there. Thought one in there, and that's where they'll take in that fast water, and then bang.
So tell me a bit about yourself. Like what started the whole salmon fishing?
Well, I started fishing when I was 6 years old. My grandfather used to take me fishing for brown trout, and I think salmon just became a natural progression from brown trout.
From trout. Okay.
I think I was probably 10 years old when I caught my first salmon.
Really?
And I still remember where I caught it,
Really?
what I caught it on, and the take, which is, the most important part about it. People talk about the tug is the drug, which it is, that take,
It's phenomenal.
Never forget. I think for me, salmon became an obsession, and my wife will, she's tell people, that man is obsessed. He's never here.
So
he's
you're
on
saying
the
your
river,
wife has
morning,
been
noon and night. My kids will say the same.
She's been widowed by the salmon.
Yeah, and I think a lot of salmon anglers, that happens to them. It either really goes into your blood or, you play at it.
Why would you say salmon is one of Britain's iconic fish?
I think when you look at the salmons, its life, what it does, where it goes, the distance it travels, and the fact that it's a fish that you will stand in the river for hours, days, weeks, months on end, and you don't actually even know if there's a salmon in the stretch of water you're fishing. And even with that, if there's salmon there, you don't know how many, you don't know what size, and they could be any size from, 2 pounds up to 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And every river is capable of producing fish in between, and that's what keeps me driven on it, because when you're fishing, you get that take, you don't
There's
know what
nothing else
size
like
it's
it.
going to be, and that's the exciting part, and you can't control that, and that's why you have to keep coming back.
I can't quite believe it. Barry's landed an incredible salmon. Our teams all move upstream to maximise our chances.
Changing my lure over to fish this pool from a mip spinner to a Rapala. So with this pool here, you start right at the very top there in the neck of the pool and just gradually work your way down, all the way down, cast for cast, right the way down to the island in the middle there. Work your way all the way down.
Now we're in the danger zone. Just got all the right characteristics, that's all. We know what the bottom's like. That little outcrop just deflects the water slightly over, and just, the fish love it over there, like.
We won't hold our breath.
Hello!
More luck than Hartley's.
Believe it. More jam. Right, you can probably tell that this isn't a normal fly rod, and the way I'm actually using it is I'm actually using the weight of the line on the water to cast the fly. It's 3 stages for one of these casts. Lift, turn and rotate, and then just the littlest of flicks. As simple as that. It's funny, these rods are built so that you give less and you get more from it. They work from the butt up. And there's all sorts of different casts you can do, and when there's a downstream wind behind it, I should be casting off my left shoulder, but I can still cast all right off my right. There's about 6 or 7 different casts you can use, but this one for me creates the least disturbance, which obviously doesn't spook the fish. So that little rotation, and then it's out, as simple as that.
The longer rods have gone out of fashion. The 14 foot is the new 15 foot, and most people tackle rivers the size of Tyne on 13 foots. But the thing is, it's not to be scared with them. They're actually easier to use than any single-handed rod, because you've got 2 hands involved. The only thing is, make sure you use 2 hands, because a lot of people will use these as if they're using like a single-handed rod and just using that. Well, just relax, use both hands, bottom and top, and then it is much, much easier. And the beauty with these now as well is you've got shooting heads. So if you want to cast a long way, it's a lot easier than it used to be with the old spay lines.
Which do you think is easier, salmon fishing or trout fishing?
Oh my God, trout fishing 1,000,000 times over, because you're actually fishing for something that's feeding. With salmon, they come in and literally they shut their gobs because they don't feed in the river. So we have to annoy them and get this fly going past them. Whereas with a trout, even though a trout can be just as frustrating, but the trout feed. So you have a chance to match the hatch. You can put something, that they're actually feeding on.
Another quick move and our last chance to tempt some silver to the net.
final chance in the last pool. We're just going to go through a few changes with the flies, just go down a little bit smaller and black. Even though we're fishing into the dark, black fly silhouette, so it's called an executioner for a reason.
Let's hope so.
Look at that, little salmon paw.
So we had a fantastic day yesterday. We had one salmon, absolutely beautiful creature, caught by Barry. Now it's competition time. Now we'll split up into teams. We've got James, got Hal, and we've got Phil.
The dream team.
Yeah.
But I've got the lovely smiley Emma, and we've got Andrew as well. And Andrew, he works this place day in, day out, so hopefully we're in for it.
But the most important thing is the competition rules. Competition rules are as follows. Biggest fish wins, hands down. But if you get a fish on the fly, it's worth half the length of that fish on top. So it's entirely down to yourselves. If you want to fly fish, lure fish, whatever, they are the rules. But the most important thing is this coin. Now, heads or tails, Rip, you get to choose where to go.
Right, heads, this beat.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's got him worried. Oh, that better not be for the
We're off to a winner.
All right,
We're
come
off
on.
to a winner.
Let's get fishing.
Cheers.
All right, guys, come on.
Let's go. One thing, Phil, James and myself are really up against it today. Because on Ripon's team, he's got Emma. And all salmon anglers know who catches the biggest fish, who catches the most fish. It's women. And in my team, I've got James, and he hasn't got one iota of patience. So let's hope the salmon gods are on our side and not Emma's side today.
First sign of insanity, talking to yourself or talking to the salmon.
Yeah. That's what salmon does, it sends you crazy.
Honestly, it drives a sane man mad. Got all my trust in these flies, and because we're not fishing the same pool through twice, there's no point changing the flies, because I know the flies work. It's just that one fish, that one daft fish. And we're all using different things, so, you know, someone's going to get lucky at some point. It's just putting the time in. This is perfect, this. Did you see that? Did you see that fish? Boom, look at that, man. Mate, it's on the money. It's just the shade there, it's what you want. The fish will actually drop back off into these areas where there's loads of shade all along here. Big rocks, loads of flow, shade.
I've chosen to stick with the spinning rod purely because I'm not so confident on the fly. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to, but it's competition day, so I'm going to stick to what I know and what I'm good at. Also as well, it's quite a versatile bit of kit as well, because you can get in all the little nooks and crannies. You know, with the fly, you've always got to have a bit of low, so you've got to kind of work the fly a bit harder. It's a lot harder work. What we've done is put Emma and Andrew into the nice fly spots. I'm literally just bouncing in between. I'm going to be like a little spring chicken, just going around everywhere and doing as much as I can.
The sort of gentleness of fly fishing suits it. You know, it's the most gorgeous river. We've seen 2 kingfishers already this morning. And it's jolly early. What time is it now? 8:20. We started at 7. And it's just so nice and calm, and sun's getting horribly high already. So it's going to be a tricky old morning's fishing. But when you're fly fishing, there's something about the rhythm of it. Seems to be quite satisfying to me.
So I'd love to beat James, but James knows this river inside out. You know, he basically lives next to the river. But these are salmon, and these are very, very finicky creatures. So I think it's a matter of being there at the right time. You know, I'm not doing anything too different to what he'll be doing, but he'll know those little spots, those little holding pools. So, you know, he'll know the places that work as where I don't really know. So I'm just going to go with what I normally do and just fan these spots out. Hopefully there'll be one stupid fish that will take.
Very strong chance, I think, this morning, because we've got Andrew here, who's on the river every single day and knows and loves it more than anything, you know. And if anybody should know where a fish is going to be, it should be him. And he's a brilliant fisherman as well. Rip is just amazing. He's a sort of fish magnet, which is really annoying. But he always seems to catch fish when others don't. Yeah, I think we've got a great chance. We could nail it. But on the other hand, we have got Jamesy, who is so determined. Carl, who is an amazing fisherman. And Phil, who's just a sort of god when it comes to spinning. So we're up against a tough team.
It's halfway through the competition, we move to another stretch. We're now with a bend pool at 4 stones. And the tactics, as always, just move and bounce about. We've got Howell using a big red Francis to stir them up. I'm just fishing fine little flies. And Phil's going to go in with a lure, so we're covering all bases here. So salmon flies aren't that dissimilar to other flies that you use for trout, pike, bass. I mean, they range from something as small as like a size 18, which I've had salmon on this week, to what I was using a big red Francis. And we're trying to get a reaction from these fish, possibly in the fact that they feed on these animals at sea, or you're just annoying the hell out of them. And that's what we're trying to do. Some of these fish are laid up, you want to get down right in the face, and that's exactly what Howell's doing there with what we call, it's like a big carrot, a big red Francis. If he can't get a reaction out of them on that fly, I don't know what we're going to do. But we've probably got another 3 hours left, so we're going to absolutely smash it. Come on, boys.
It is interesting that we seem to have a good steady run of fish now, and the rod catch every year is pretty consistent, and the fish counter numbers through Riding Mill Fish Pass on the main river are really quite remarkably consistent, probably to the end of the season, end of October, something in the region of 34,000 fish coming through a year. This year, of course, we had a proper summer heat wave, in fact, which made things rather challenging. There was fish there to be caught. The numbers of fish coming through still amazed me, to be quite honest. But you know, bright blue skies, very warm water temperatures. I think it just we didn't have favourable conditions in which to catch them. But the fish were there, and I saw them running fish every day throughout June and July. So the future looks bright. Hoping it continues that way, for the sake of all anglers at Fish Tyne, and for anybody that comes to visit and enjoy our wonderful waters.
Now there is a salmon smile, if ever I have seen one. Guys, how we doing? Oh, how we doing? Hello, how we doing?
No.
Phil dog.
What a day.
Oh,
what a day. What we want to know, obviously, is how you guys are getting on.
Big fat zero.
Are you kidding me?
Not even joking.
What?
Not even
I'll
joking.
go on, tell them.
We didn't go to the right place. Because guess what?
You got nothing to do with it. I thought so. So, but the magic question is, where does that leave us?
Well, where it leaves us at the minute is obviously tough conditions. It's been really hard, high pressure, low water. We just haven't timed it right. If we'd been here 2 days earlier, it would have happened, but that's fishing for you.
James, that's just excuse by excuse.
I'm a salmon angler, I'm used to it.
Salmon anglers, you can keep salmon fishing.
We do have a plan though. We do have a plan, but you guys will have to wait and see. So, as you can see, we're back on the mighty Tyne to continue this competition that wasn't quite finished. This week, we have got Andrew Jackson fishing on behalf of Rip On, and I'm lucky enough to have Marina Gibson fishing on behalf of me. Competition rules are as follows, guys. Once that first fish hits the net, that's it over. Sudden death. just start with a short line. Do you reckon get it longer and longer?
Yeah. And then just strip it back to a few different tweaky retrieves or whatever, and just
doesn't take you long to fish.
We'll do it quickly. We can always drop back in on the way down and have another go, because it's one of those.
That was a big fish.
Yeah. There's definitely fish running through. So
come on, get your rod. Put them M&Ms down. The North Town fish will come into here. The South Town fish will come in here, but the amount of fish you see down that tail end, just as the water's mixed, is incredible sometimes. We've just seen a couple of huge fish. I knew it wouldn't take him long. I knew it would not take him long to put a fly in the water. Look at that. He says ladies first and he has to have a chuck. That's actually not a bad spot, to be honest. There's another fish further down there. There's loads of fish stacked up in here.
One for the queen.
One for the queen. One for the queen. Bang on.
We are doing everything we can to get a fish on camera. We've even brought along Marina's lucky dog Sedge to help. Come on, Sedge.
So we've gone back to normal tactics. What we're trying to do is actually find these fish. So we've actually moved to Thistle Rig, which is on the North Tyne. We've been fishing the south this morning. We're just giving ourselves the best opportunity to try and find some fresh fish. Now, when I say fresh fish, it's not fish that have just come in from the sea. It's fish that haven't seen a fly yet. Now, there's a guy that's had one here this morning, so hopefully we can put a fly in front of one of these daft fish and we'll get it. Hopefully it's going to be Gibson. Oh, that was a hell of a fish. That was a hell of a fish down there. Your mum sounds like an incredible woman, Gibson.
Yeah, she is incredible, and she's incredible at salmon fishing as well. She was my idol growing up, and she still is now. And she used to take, well, as a family, we went every year, and from the age of 8, I was using double-handed rods, and I just loved it. And I loved watching her. She used to catch so many fish, and to see, for a girl, I think, to see their mums doing well at something, it gives you an incentive to be good at it as well.
And that's exactly what we need in this sport. More women anglers and more idols like your mum. And look where you've ended up today. Why do you love fishing for them so much?
Because they're complicated.
Very complicated.
You have to work out the puzzle, don't you, when you come and fish for them? Every day is different. And if you actually manage to hook one, then it's the best feeling in the world. It's not like, I don't know, any fish is great to catch, but when you get that proper pull from a salmon, and you don't know whether you're going to lose it, because they're quite hard to land.
They're very hard to catch.
Oh.
I don't believe that. That was a fish. That was the same fish second time. That was on that time, wasn't it? That was fish 2 times in a row came up. It didn't sort of hit it hard, but it was that fish twice. Yeah. Best thing to do is just to leave the rod down, let it pull, then the slowest lift possible. Fish on! Right, follow me, come this way. Fish on! Yeah, it's fine. Yep. Right, Marina's just hooked a fish. We don't know what fly it's on yet, but we've got 2 flies on, so I want to move down here and get away from these rocks. We have literally grafted so hard for this fish all day. All day. It's very critical that we don't make any mistakes because it's taken so long to hook this fish. Different flies, different tactics, different areas. Well, that's exactly what I didn't want to do. Come on, Gibson, come on. I can't get him yet. That's all right. So about 5 minutes into the fight, this is a very, very strong, well-rested fish. Now Gibson's working it, tiring the fish out. It's quite hard in this current. We've got a point fly on as well, so we just don't want the point fly to get caught on any rocks, so we're just trying to tire the fish out. Are you sure? Fish is stuck. There we go. Right, quickly come back here. No. No, no. No, no, there you go. That's all right. I'm all right, I'm all right. Done this before. This time. Come on. Get in! Get in! Job done. That's teamwork for you.
Oh, beautiful.
Colour coordination, the lot. Look at the size of that. That's a nice fish. I still think you made the most of it, like, but
Unbelievably strong as well. I couldn't believe how much line he kept on taking off.
he was a well-rested fish.
Unbelievable.
I'm shaking, I'm physically shaking. So all those days fished, all the time, effort between numerous anglers, and this is what it's for. In my eyes, Britain's most iconic fish. Look at that bad boy. What a stunning fish. Now that fish is a male fish. He's in his spawning colours. He's going all the way up to the head of the North Tyne to pass on his genetics and to hopefully give anglers in the future plenty of moments like we've just experienced there. And that is what it's all about, guys. What a stunning, incredible fish. Now we're gonna get the fly out and we're gonna get the fish straight back because he's a very important fish and we don't want to stress him too long.
Hello, mate.
Mr. Khalik, please do not swear you are on live TV, right? So there has been a fish caught and I'm gonna, yeah, there's been a fish caught. I'm gonna pass you over to the winning angler. Obviously, Marina's fished on my behalf and you've had Andrew on your behalf. So the next person you speak to is the person that has caught that fish, right? Are you ready?
Go on then.
Ripstar!
No,
It was me.
no, give the phone to Andrew. Don't
Honestly, mate, you have got no idea how hard we have grafted for this fish. Both Andrew and Marina have fished phenomenally well for both parties, but Marina pulled it out the bag at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. We could not believe it. An incredible fish, mate, weighing about £9, but we've got it all on camera. Most importantly, mate, we've kicked your ass, so I'm over the moon. Marina's over the moon. Andrew's always smiling as he always does. But, mate,
I'm not going to be sore about it. I'm going to say congratulations.
no, thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. But we'll let you get back to work, mate, and we will see you on the next episode.
All right, buddy. And Marina, well done, girl.
Thank you.
All the best,
Thank
Rip.
you. Bye. Bye, Ripstar.
See you later, mate.
Bye, bye.
Get in! Well done, get in, put it there, come on, come here, get in. Andrew, thank you very much, mate.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Well done, mate. Thank you so much. You both grafted your asses off, and I think the guys will see actually how hard salmon fishing is. It's not just as easy as going down, putting a fly lure out, catching a fish. I mean, we do this full time. We're on this stretch all the time. We know how hard it can be, but to get a prize like that, it's more, you know, it's more rewarding getting one last minute.
Have luck on your side on the day.
Right,
Bit of Stogo luck, yeah, man. But I think there's still a little bit of time left to fish, so I think we're going to head off, right? Come on, get your rods.
Oh, is it away? Watch some snake hips.
Oh my God!
You know what this is, don't you?
It's a bank stick.
No, sunglasses, look.
I should have just caught it.
Right, we've got to try and put this at someone's doorstep, alright?
No.
Double down. No. Can we just pay someone to do it?
That's my blood.
Dancing with fish. He just wanted to get the fox waders on camera, that's what it was.
There we go. Fish on! Whoa.
You don't know where we are?
No.
Go on, leave it out.
I don't. Without having done, are we?
Right, here we go.
Time, lads! That's it!